Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Philosophy of Truth channel. Tonight, we'll be discussing the way of truth as the initiation into the mysteries of the divine. To begin, we must ask, what is truth? Now, to open us up here, let's look at this $20 bill. Is it real or fake? In order to determine that something is fake or false or a sham, we must first know what is true to begin with. For just as this $20 bill has unique characteristics which help us identify that it is indeed authentic or real or true, this is only because truth itself has certain characteristics which make it stand out and help us understand why it is true. So, to introduce us into this topic, we will be covering the origin of truth and define precisely what it is and show what falsehood is. This presentation will also show why truth is eternal and falsehood is temporal, and this will all be accomplished in a clear and concise manner. The goal is to help show that truth is the objective standard by which all things are measured against. So, truth being eternal, we must understand that to begin any investigation, we need a reliable standard, like I mentioned before. Because without such a standard, we will forever be lost. And the standard that we have to guide us is truth. Now, to prove that it is eternal, we just need to look at this statement. Quote, "There was once a time where there was nothing." Close quote. This statement is false, for in order to determine this was the case, then truth needed to exist. From this we learn that truth is eternal, and since this is so, it does not change, and since this is so, it never contradicts itself. So when tracing the origin or the etymology of truth, we see its Old English and Proto-Germanic forms, which ultimately come from the Proto-Indo-European root deru, which means solid, firm, or steadfast. And the suffix in truth, that is the th at the end, comes from the Germanic etho, which means an action, state, or quality. Therefore, truth is the quality of being firm, solid, and steadfast. And these concepts found in Deru are from the specialized senses of the word itself, which translate to wood or tree. And so, as you guys could see in this picture, truth is a firm and steadfast tree. Falsehood, by contrast, is temporal. That is to say, it does not last forever. And since we know that truth is eternal and doesn't change, we know that falsehood, being temporal, is subject to change. And this changeability is what makes it liable to be false. And this is because falsehood inherently contradicts itself. Okay, so now before moving forward, we have to understand that time itself can never be considered false. Why? Because it never contradicts its own nature. Time, by its nature, is temporal, which means it's meant to change, right? Because it's not eternal. So because it follows its own nature, it's not false. Okay? Falsehood, on the other hand, is claiming something which it is not. That is to say that falsehood parades itself like the real dollar bill when it's actually a counterfeit or fake one. Now, when we look at the origin of falsehood, we see its different forms in Old Frisian, Dutch, German, and Swedish, and we see it ultimately comes from the Latin word falsus, which is also where we get the word fallere or fallacy from, which simply means to deceive or disappoint. Now, while deception or the word deceive is pretty clear for most people, the word disappoint literally means to undo. And the suffix or ending of falsehood means a state or condition of being. Therefore, a falsehood or falsehood itself is a state of being false by undoing oneself. And so when you guys look at this tree here, we see falsehood at first glance looks solid and firm like truth. However, when you start climbing it and engaging with it, you find that is actually weak and unstable because the roots are shallow and do not go deep at all. And so you end up stumbling and falling because of it, like this man and woman in the picture. This lets us know that 100% of the time, truth being eternal doesn't change, which always means it is right. And falsehood, by contrast, is always wrong. To close, we learn that truth is the objective standard by which we may measure all things against. And to quote this ancient proverb, we learn that truth makes all men free, but it is falsehood which imprisons him. Takeaway from this presentation is that in order to enter into the mysteries of truth, you must approach it in humility, for wisdom is the guide to it, and she will resist all who approach it in a spirit of pride and cut down those attempting to force their way in. So as you guys could see in this picture, the two initiates represent mankind, or two individuals from humanity who approach wisdom, who is standing at the gate of truth. We see here there are little children who naturally, through their humility and innocence, are allowed to enter in to the mysteries along with wisdom, who's holding a baby. In this scene, we see a group of what it looks like wise men and people who have a name for themselves, and wisdom is turning them away because while they look holy and righteous, they are actually very prideful and hypocritical. And here in this bloody scene, we see that the enemies of wisdom and truth, attempting to force their way in, have been cut down by wisdom. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments you want to drop, feel free to email me at philosophy-of-truth777@gmail.com. Obviously, you guys can comment in the comment section as well. However, if your comments are quite long or you want more anonymity, then Like I said, you can just simply email me if you wish. Otherwise, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos from my channel. All right, good night.